Hey, I'm making a quick video because I wanted to show you some of the things that were a lot of you were doing on this, and I want to make sure that you know what you're supposed to do for the next one. So I'm going to show you some examples of things that can be improved and some things that actually are good. So let's take a look at this. This was from the YouTube video review. This person, this is how they're reviewing the video. They say they give the video a 5. He does an awesome job explaining the film. Don't know what film, and shows scenes from the film to make his point. Scenes from the film. Which scenes? Make his point. Which point are we talking about? The film he reviews is There Will Be Blood, answered that question, and he is rewatching the film and investigating it into further detail and finding things he missed the first time he watched this film. And then it ends. What were some of the things he missed the first time he watched the film? So, don't know what scenes we watched, don't know what he missed. We need some detail. Let's look at another one. I rated this video a 4 because I agreed with what they said. Obviously, what did you agree with? And it made me notice some things I wouldn't have. What were some things you noticed you wouldn't have? This is the point where you can say, for instance, for example, it made me notice some things I wouldn't have. For example, one thing I didn't notice, I agreed with what they said. For example, here's something that I agreed with. I thought it showed lots of great examples. For instance, and the video was well organized. In what way? It was easy for me to understand even if I didn't know all of the terminology. What's an example of the terminology you didn't know? Do you see all of the details we're missing? So this is a great start, but it just doesn't have a lot of details. I don't know what terminology you're talking about. I don't know the examples. I don't know what you didn't notice. So we need those details. I'll show you another example of one that could be improved, and then I'll show you a couple of good ones. I rated the video a 5 because it was an interesting video. It showed the shots in that scene and explained why it was used. What shots? Why was it used? Also the meaning behind the shots. What was the meaning behind the shots? The video did this a little about some of the sounds used for the business cards. What were the sounds used for the business cards? So I think people might be rushing through this stuff, but boy, just have me sitting in the background in your head thinking, for example, for instance, such as, what were the sounds? What were the shots? Why was it used? For example, give me an example. Give me an example of the meaning behind the shots. Okay, so those are 3 that could be improved. This one's pretty good. This one's about the day that friends died. I rated this video a 3 because it had good elements in it, but was beating around the bush too much and veered off topic relatively often. I loved when he spoke on how pregnancies in a show is a sure sign the show's writers are running out of ideas, and I loved when he described these friends switching up romantic partners with each other as incestual. Not only was it brutally honest, but I completely agreed with his ideas and explanations. I only began having issues when the speaker was struggling to stay on topic. He cited The Office. You can even put here, for instance. Perfect. This is a for instance. He cited The Office and compared Ross and Rachel to Jim and Pam without any real reason other than just showing which show was his preference. He spoke about the upbringing of Phoebe and the internal family conflicts they all had as well. As informative as that was, it didn't add to the purpose of the video at all. It almost seemed like he was just trying to reach the 15-minute mark for another opportunity for an ad break. He even endorsed a VPN both in the beginning and the end of the video. In short, there was just too much content unrelated to the video's topic. Boy, a lot of details there. I really like that. Whether I agree with it or not doesn't even matter. The point is there's a lot of details. And here's the last one. Here's a good one. This video first established the danger of the minions from Despicable Me and why we need to prepare for the takeover of these creatures. The narrator then used examples from the movie, such as when a minion floats into space and does not freeze, to establish that the minions are nearly indestructible. They are heat resistant, not vulnerable to starvation, resistant to skin piercing, cold resistant, medieval torture resistant, radiation resistant, etc. Let me go back up here. Somebody could have said to establish that the minions are nearly indestructible and stopped. But this person said, for example, they are heat resistant. They did all those things, all of these details that I'm looking for. The narrator then used the example from a movie that the minions had their DNA altered in order to argue that DNA is their weakness. The narrator then goes on to explain the similarities between minions and lobsters as they evolved alongside each other and have similar DNA. If we inhibited telomerase, a piece of DNA, the minions would be able to age and be more susceptible to viruses and bacteria. The narrator references a Harvard study that shows we can inhibit telomerase successfully. Holy cow, that's a lot. That's great. That is a summary. That is weird, though, too, talking about changing the telomerase of minions' DNA. Wow. So that was just the summary. Here's the evaluation. Initially, I thought the video would not be very good, as the title left me thinking that it would be fairly simple and even have crude descriptions. I was pleasantly surprised as the video built up some suspense. How? Because some people stop there. It built suspense. How did it do it? By listing the ways in which you would not be able to kill a minion, and then once the narrator finally revealed how he used actual scientific evidence to back up his theory. I was not expecting real-world science, such as the study from Harvard, to tie into a theory of how an animated movie character could die. I only gave the video a 3, however, because it does not have a ton to do with the actual movie, which is fine, but not what I was necessarily looking for. So you can see lots of details in those last two. Just specific details from the video, in the one about Friends and in the one about the Minions and Despicable Me. These ones, they said some general things and didn't have the best way to do it. For instance, for example, such as, all of those things will help you expand out into your details. It's been 6 minutes. Now, next time you do it, go do it and be specific.